Yes, we are in 2022, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Let's talk about some of the group stuff that we've got going on. Day one, 21-day consistency challenge. If any of you guys here do not know what I'm talking about, please look in featured in the group. Today was our day one, 21 days of consistency. This is like, I would say by far, we do a challenge every month in the group, but I would say by far, this is our favorite challenge. This one we do in January and in September, and it really helps us to get right back into it after maybe we've indulged a little bit too much, or maybe been kind of off our game. But there's something about January and September that are really good months to get back into it again. And I started the 21-day consistency challenge because I just felt like doing a challenge for 1 week is just not enough sometimes. There's a couple times a year where we have to push ourselves to say, I'm going to be consistent for 3 weeks straight. What do they say? It takes like 3 weeks to make a new habit. So if we've been kind of off our game or whatever, that gives us time to get back into it. This is such a hit already. I've read a whole bunch today and I haven't had a chance to go in and reply or whatever, which I'll do after this. But everyone is loving it so far. People have been so excited about it. So if you are not in it, please join us. And if for some reason you're watching this and it's after the first day, today's January 3rd, jump in anytime. Just jump in anytime just so that you can be part of it, because I really feel that doing this at the start of January is going to set the tone for our year. I really do. Okay, the other thing I want to mention too is that hidden in the official post about this challenge, I put in there that I have a discount for you guys so that you can stock up on your Intentionally Bare products. And I forgot to do a separate post outside of that one. So I just did that actually just before I came on. So in case you guys didn't see it, because it was kind of mixed in with the other stuff, it's 15% off all Intentionally Bare products if you buy two. So any two, mix and match. You could do an oil and a collagen, or you could do an oil and a BHB, or a BHB and a collagen, or an MCT powder. Like, it doesn't matter. Any two are the same, two different, doesn't matter. But you buy any two or more and you'll get 15% off. And that's for the month of January. So I just wanted to point that out in case you missed it in the group. And like I said, I did do a separate post on it or whatever. My bad. I was supposed to do a separate post on it a while ago and I just totally forgot. So sorry about that. Okay. So that's what's going on in the group. Now, let me just see here. Hi, Kim. Sean says she loves this challenge, especially in January. Absolutely. I totally agree. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because our topic today is we don't have to be extreme. We just need to be consistent. And boy, let me tell you, this one really hits home with me. But first of all, I'm just going to say real quick, if anyone is new here, my name is Lita. Welcome. I just want to let you know that I am not a doctor. I'm just super keen on keto and all the ways that we can improve our health naturally, but I am not a doctor. Please take whatever I say as just opinion only. Okay, so talking about not being extreme, but being consistent. And the reason why this hits home so much for me, and I know it does for you guys too, because you guys have talked about it in the group, I can't tell you how many times I have lost at least 40 pounds. Like, I can't tell you. Like, I have lost count now. And truthfully, not just on keto. Like, I have done it many ways. I will always say that keto is the healthiest way for us for so many different reasons. But I will say that I have lost weight in lots of other ways too, not just keto. Why didn't it stay off? Why didn't I lose the weight and why didn't it stay off? Because I wasn't consistent. There are other things, of course, we can talk about that in another talk about stress and, falling back into old habits, carb addiction, binging. I mean, that's we can talk about all those things. But bottom line is consistency. Consistency is the key. If I had stuck to that all those times ago, I would be at my goal weight right now. And I'm not saying this to be negative at all. I'm very happy where I am. And yeah, I've gained a little bit, but I'm okay with it. Honestly, I'm totally okay with it. I'm just on my path. But I know that there are so many people in this group that understand what I'm talking about. It's like we do the all or nothing thing. And January is the perfect time to talk about this because let's face it, come January, it's like, oh, I'm all in. I'm going to do this new diet. Let's even pretend, before keto or whatever, I'm going to do this new diet and this is the plan and I got it all mapped out and I'm going to do it and I'm going to do 110%. And they suggest this, but I'm going to do even more. And I'm not just going to try to get a walk in every day. No, it's a guaranteed 1 hour of hardcore exercise a day. And I'm going to get in all my water and et cetera, et cetera. Okay. I'm not saying that any of those things are bad things, but we put this in our mind that in January, we're going to do all these things and we're going to be absolutely perfect. Right. And then what happens? We go too strict, like way too extreme, like back probably a year and a half ago, if I was trying to get back into keto, I didn't just get back into keto. Oh no, that wasn't good enough for me. No, hardcore fasting, having lower calories. Oh my gosh, like way too hard, way too hard. And then what happens? You end up rebounding the other way because it's quite painful. Let's face it, when you go from kind of being off to being super strict, it's too much. It's too much. And for those of us that have a problem with carbs, like carb addiction, binge eating, being too strict really puts us in the opposite direction that we want to go. Trying to be consistent, and when I say try, I mean, because I'm not saying perfection, but if our goal is being consistent, it may not seem good enough, right? Like it seems like I was so off for 3 months, or I was so off for 4 months, or whatever it was, or at Christmas time. It's almost like we feel like we have to punish ourselves to be extra strict to make up for the time where we were not on our game. But like I said, it comes to bite us in the butt if we just stuck and we were just consistent with our plan for the most part. Obviously, we're going to have a one and done here and there. That's going to happen, and that's totally fine. But generally speaking, being consistent, that is going to get us to our goal way faster than trying to do extreme and then backsies, and then extreme and then backsies. Even in the time where maybe we're off intentionally, there are things that happen in our lives. We have stressful things that happen, circumstances come up where maybe it is just not possible for us to follow the plan that we want. But why is it that we also go to the extreme and say, well, if I'm not following my plan, I'm really going to go off and I'm really going to have like a ton of stuff and go the complete opposite? Why can't we just be reasonable? You know what I mean? Like we know what carbs are, we know what aren't carbs are. We can just eat healthy. We can still be higher in our carbs and still be healthy, probably maintain our weight. But no, we tend to go way this side and way this side. And trust me, I absolutely know what that's like because that is my tendency. Has always been my tendency. And it's something that I am trying so hard to work on. For example, over this Christmas, it would have been very typical for me if I was kind of like relaxing my Christmas time. I wouldn't really just relax the Christmas time. I would like really relax the Christmas time. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd say, oh, this is my time. So I'm going to like eat a whole bunch of stuff or whatever. And I didn't. I had my fatty coffee in the morning. I had my salad at lunch. I still ate very reasonable, ate very healthy. Did I have some chips in the evening? Yes. Did I have some chocolate over Christmas? Absolutely. I had those things as a little addition in my Christmas time at my Christmas time, but I didn't go all out because I thought I was off, knowing that in January I'm going to be on. So I really focused on just trying to be, consistent and reasonable over the holidays, and it paid off. It paid off. I weighed myself this morning because we're starting our challenge today, and I'm pretty much exactly where I was before the holidays, which is huge for me because generally speaking, I usually gain over times like that. Okay, I'm going to go back here. Tammy, don't ever be sorry for being late. I'm so happy that you're here. Tasha, consistency does work. I kept my weight the same for 8 months, then got off track. There you go. So Tasha totally knows about consistency working. Sue says, perfection is a dirty word. It sure is. It absolutely is. It's like, I don't know, it's just like this way that we, especially women, I think, it's like we beat ourselves up. We say it under the guise of, I want to do this right, but really it's almost like self-punishing ourselves for not being perfect. And then we just kind of redo the same thing over and over again. And I think if we just didn't try to live up to those perfection expectations, and we just tried to be as consistent as we could, we would just get so much farther. I really believe that. Jenny, I'm all these: carb addiction, binging, etc. I feel you, Jenny. I totally do. I think they kind of, for a lot of us, it goes hand in hand. And I will say, like, and I've said this before, I will always be a carb addict, and I will always have that bingy tendency. But what is it that helps me? It's keto. It's keeping my blood sugar low, having a nice, good intake of fat, eating healthy, nutrient dense foods. When I'm eating in that zone, it's not because, like, oh, I'm trying to be perfect keto. It literally changes how I feel. I don't have to try so hard because it's easy. When I'm following that plan, I feel so good. I don't have the tendency to binge, and I don't have the tendency to overload on the carbs. But when I allow myself to go off, and when I say off, I mean like crappy off. Okay. I'm not saying like I had a potato off, I had a sweet potato, or I had some beets. That's not what I consider off. Okay. That's just a little bit of a higher carb day. That's not a big whoop. When I say off, I mean like the junk food, the sugar, the grains, the wheat. When I allow myself to go off on those things, it's like it changes something. It is literally like an addiction for me, and it changes something in my brain. It raises my blood sugar, and then I feel almost powerless to rein myself back in. That is why it is so important for me to be consistent. Sure, there's a little one and done, but that's why I came up with that one and done, was for myself, and then I shared it with you guys, because so you want to have a dessert one night or whatever, that one little thing is not going to make you binge. I mean, unless you're super sensitive, the odds are good that that one thing is not going to do it. But what do you do after that thing? So after that thing, if you have another thing and you say, oh, well, you know what, I blew it anyways, why not blow it all the way? Okay, that's it, skyrocketing. Now everything is going like way up, and now it's really, really hard to rein it in. And so that's where consistency makes all the difference. It really, really does. Okay, let me go back here. Sean, for sure, slow and steady wins the race. Long term, no chance of fasting or any of that for me right now. It'll come with the whole process. Yes, exactly. I talked about that this morning in our Motivational Monday, and I'll talk about it today here too. But, for some of us who have been doing keto for a long time, and some of us that do fasting as part of our lifestyle, like when we're in the groove, it feels like, because we've done it before, oh, well, let's just go back in, like it's day one of getting back into it again, and I'm gonna do some hardcore fasting or intermittent fasting or whatever. It feels like we should be able to do that because we've done it in the past, but we're not. We're not. If we've been off of our game, our blood sugar is too high. Our bodies are not used to it. And so you may be able to pull it off for a day or two. And then you're just going to go, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. And then what happens? You don't say, I'm just going to go and eat a bunch of fat and eat some protein till I feel better. No, we're going to the carb cupboard. We're going to go to the carb cupboard, because that's what happens when we just go too strict one way. We end up rebounding and going the other way. It's very natural. And we shouldn't feel bad when that happens, but that's why it really is important to just kind of go in easy. And that's the next part I want to talk about, was easing in, especially if we've been off for a while, off our game, just easing in. So an example of that would be like, maybe not even ready for full on, keto yet. Maybe we're just easing off, getting off the grains, the sugar, the high carbs, doing that, drinking more water, moving a bit more, doing lazy keto, not tracking macros. If that mentally is a little bit too much at the beginning, you do those things for like a week even, and everything starts to feel better, and you will feel so much better that you'll want to be tracking your macros, and you'll want to be doing things a little bit more closer to regular keto. once you're feeling a little bit better. But if right from the get-go you can do regular keto, that's great. But I do caution you about jumping right into hardcore fasting or anything like that, because it's too much. It's too much at the beginning. Okay, I just realized that I forgot to show you my mug. And this is kind of funny because, so this is my mug for today. And the reason why this is funny is because when I was looking for, I wanted to have a mug that I could give away in contests and stuff. A lot of you guys have won my Keto Makes Your Clothes Fall Off mug. And this was my first sample that I got. And I was like, are you kidding me? That is nothing. That's a half a coffee for me. That is, there's no way I'm going to give that away. So I went to another size, and now you guys know this one. That is one big cup of coffee. I think it's like 32 ounces or something like that. Microwavable. You can do bone broth. You can do mug cakes in it. It's absolutely fantastic. And that's one of the things I'm going to give away at the end of our 21-day consistency challenge, along with some products. But anyways, I just wanted to show you how funny that is. Like, really? You honestly think that's going to be my mug? I'll do it to drink here, but in real life with my coffee, I'm having water now. Anyone that knows me knows that that's not a real size cup of coffee. Anyway, that's just funny. Okay, Patty, if I go off, it's a carb fest and free for all. I hate to admit it, but I'm up 15 pounds, stopped working, and I just literally lost motivation to keep moving. This challenge is giving me motivation to treadmill, track, and water. Yes, Patty. You know what, Patty? Do not feel bad about yourself. Honestly, all of us have done this, myself included. This year has not been a banner year for me weight-wise, and it was exactly that mentality. Exactly. Me too. And that's why I say that I will always be a carb addict. I will always be a binger at heart. It's always in there. And the only thing that keeps me nice and steady and even is doing keto. It really is. Or at the very least, low carb. And I know also for myself, staying away from grains. That's just, for me personally, grains are horrendous. So yeah, we've all been there, and all you can do is start where you are right now, and you're doing awesome. By the end of this 21-day challenge, Patty, you're just going to be totally back into the zone again. Teresa loves it. Good. Janet, yeah, I won't be able to fast probably until the last week of the challenge. OMAD will be okay though pretty quickly. Good for you. I feel the exact same way. You're welcome, Patty. I'm putting no pressure on myself whatsoever for fasting. The most fasting that I'm doing right now is I have my fatty coffee in the morning, and then I don't have anything except for water until lunchtime when I have my big salad. That is all I have planned out for myself for this whole challenge. And by the end of the challenge, I am hoping to incorporate, longer fasting and things like that. But I'm putting no pressure on myself whatsoever. In the olden days, I would do that. I would put pressure on myself because I'd sort of think of it like, I've done all kinds of fasts. I've done 4-day fasts. I've done 3-day fasts. I've done bone broth cleanses. I've done all kinds of stuff. What's wrong with you? Come on, just get right into it. And I tried it, and it just did not work. It did not work. It really doesn't matter how much experience you have in that area. If you've been kind of off or your carbs have been high for a while, it is just not going to work, and you're not going to feel good. And the whole point of this is when we start getting into intermittent fasting and fasting, it should feel natural. It shouldn't feel pushed. It should feel so natural, like you're like, oh, I really don't feel like eating breakfast. I'm not hungry, or I really don't need to have lunch. I feel really good, or whatever. It should come naturally. That's the way it should be. If we force it, it really can cause some problems with binge eating and overeating and things like that. And we don't want to go backwards. What we want is we want to win. We want to win for 21 days, every single day. We want to feel like we're winning, and we want to get back into the habit. And honestly, guys, keto itself is just so amazing. Like, I don't know why we always think, I say we because like I do it too, right? But we think in our minds, like, I got to do something so extreme. I've got to do major fasting or this cleanse or even the bone broth cleanse. I mean, these are all great tools in the toolbox, but not right now when we're trying to get back into it. 21 days of regular keto, or for some of you, if you're just, really low carb, if that's where you're at right now, is great. It is great. It's awesome. We don't have to do more than that. That in itself is huge, and it's going to make a huge difference. And I don't know why we always feel like this, that we have to do something super extreme. Like I said, especially in January, we get bombarded by all these ads, on TV and on Facebook and stuff. And it's like, I've got the right plan for you. And if you just follow this and da da da. And I think, and I fell for it so many times. I fell for it. Um, but I think it's because we have in our minds that little bit of feeling defeated when we're at our lowest point, where we feel bad about ourselves because we've gone off and we haven't been on a game, or we've gained weight or whatever. We're already feeling bad. Then you hear this ad, and they're just going to magically do it all for us. They're going to tell us what to eat. They're going to lay it all out. All we have to do is follow it, and look at all these people that have had all of these results. That can be us too. But if you really think about it, it's a little bit passive, right? It's like we're looking for someone to save us. We're totally capable of saving ourselves. We know what to do. And I will say that, just in case there is someone here that really isn't familiar with keto, please, in the group, in guide number 2, I have everything there for you on how to start super easy. And you just need the food that is in your house, or maybe a few things that you don't have, if you don't have a lot of veggies and meat or whatever. Very easy, and you can just get started. So, but for most of us that are here that have done keto before, we know what to do. We don't need a meal plan laid out for us. We know that we can do this ourselves. We know that we can create a lifestyle that works really well for us and makes us super happy. I don't know about you guys, but following a set plan that someone has laid out and they're telling me what to eat every day, not only is it not fun, it is not sustainable. How can anybody sustain that for the rest of their life? I know people could argue and say, well, I just want to lose, this much weight, then I will do my own thing after. But like I told you before, how many times have we all lost 30 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds and have gained it back again? No plan like that is really going to make you consistent. The consistency starts here in our minds, and then we just have to make the habit of it. We have to stop doing the extremes and stop beating ourselves up when we have a little backseas. Have a little backseat, get right back in. We're going to really be talking about that this year, because it's inevitable. It's inevitable. Obviously, for a 21-day consistency challenge, we want to be as good as we can be, right, to get back into the habit of it. But even in the challenge, maybe something might happen, and maybe not quite on your game that day. It's okay. It's okay. That's life. Just get right back on. That's consistency too. Just getting right back on again is consistency. Man, if all the times that I had kind of gone off for longer than I really wanted to, if I had followed that advice every time, well, anyways, I'm just saying we all do it, but it's just something to think about. Okay, and look back on here. Cheryl, starting my bone broth Thursday. I missed doing it December. And Cheryl has always consistently done that. Okay, except for December. But Cheryl has always done the bone broth cleanse, which is in guide number 5, if anyone's interested in looking. And we are going to do it as a group. I don't have my schedule here, but I think it's in March that we're going to be doing it as a group. But anyways, Cheryl has been doing it every month since, I can't remember how long, Cheryl. I'm going to say it's got to be at least a year or something like that. So for Cheryl, who, maybe she indulged a little bit in December or whatever, but for her to go back on and to do that, that's normal for her. She's just continuing with her normal schedule. But I'm sort of addressing the people that have kind of gone off and that are starting back up with excitement in January. And that's why I want to talk about the extremism, because it's so easy. Like I said, especially with all these ads going out and everything, and you think, I'm just going to do this super, super, super strict, and then I know it's going to work or whatever. And what we really want is a healthy lifestyle that we can sustain, that we really, really enjoy. And honestly, the longer that you do keto, the more you will enjoy it. For most of us, it's home. Keto is home for us. When we go off of it, it's almost foreign, and yet we still have the temptations. We still have issues, going off longer than what we really had planned. But when we come back to keto, it is just like coming home. It is just so healthy, and it makes us feel so good. And then we all say, why the heck did I go off again? Well, that's life, right? That is what we do. Kathy, my goal is to keep it simple and to take it one day at a time. That is perfect. One day at a time. Sean, I just plan to do 21 days of good old plain keto because I know I'll feel good and then go from there. Perfect, Sean. That's exactly it. Just that's funny that we call that just plain old keto. But that is what it is, right? Just like our what we know works for us and it feels so good. And after 21 days, if you guys really want to get into fasting and things like that, that's how I kind of planned this year. And I haven't shared with you, but I actually planned out a whole year of challenges in advance instead of kind of, coming up with it every month. I thought I wanted to strategically plan it out in a way that kind of takes us from getting back into it and then more. You know what I mean? Like, and we can kind of build as the year goes on with little checks in here and there with our tracking macros and things like that, just to make sure we're on the right track. But a full year of challenges, and it's awesome. I'm totally excited for it. I'm totally excited. It's going to be a great 2022. Okay, so what else do I have? I want to know from you guys in the past. Have you gone extreme, like say in January, or say that there was something coming up and you really want to hit it hard? It doesn't have to, you don't have to say like what the plan was, but whether it was keto or not keto, like it could have been a completely different diet. But did you go like all in on this super extreme thing? And did it work for you long term, or did you feel like you kind of went backsies? I can tell you for myself, I've shared with you guys that I have probably tried every single diet plan, whatever. And one of the things that I tried years ago was the HCG diet. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. It was actually through a naturopathic doctor, not my regular one, but this other one. And I felt like it was pretty safe. This was way before I ever learned about keto or anything like that. And I went on it with his supervision, and I lost 40 pounds faster than I had ever lost weight before. Because when you're on the HCG, you actually are given this hormone. It's like a topical cream hormone that like takes away your hunger naturally, whatever. I mean, it's not good. Trust me, it's not good. And I really feel strongly that it was the HCG diet that completely crapped out my thyroid. And it was probably a year after that I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism, which I now have in check because of keto. But that whole cycle started because I felt like regular healthy eating, maybe cutting my calories a little bit, exercising more, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. I needed something super extreme. So I went in and went into that program. And yes, I lost the weight. My goodness, I had never been that low before. Well, that lasted about a month and a half. And then slowly it all came back again because I had no sustainable way of eating after that. All I knew was eat like crap or do something extreme. Eat like crap, do something extreme. It wasn't until I found keto that I realized this is a lifestyle that I can live my life this way. Yes, sometimes a little higher in carbs and sometimes a little lower in carbs, and sometimes I'm fasting and sometimes I'm not. But it's still the foundation of what I have now. And most of the weight that I lost when I first started keto, most of it is still off. But I have gained a little bit over the last 2 years. It's been a stressful time for all of us. And truthfully, I didn't really feel like being as on. I think mentally I just kind of checked out a little bit, like I think a lot of people did. And again, I'm not being hard on myself about it. It just is what it is. But now I'm done with that, and that doesn't serve me anymore. And now I know where I want to be. And so now I'm being much more consistent and intentional in what I'm eating. And one of the things that I'm doing in my 21-day consistency challenge, like I said, is trying to get in as much nutrient dense foods as I can. I'm making it a point, like when I'm figuring out what I'm eating, I'm saying like, yes, I want to, every day I'm having apple cider vinegar and I want to have the microgreens and I want to have the sprouts and whatever the things are, just to really, really nourish my body. And it's winter time here. So I'm trying to get in, I don't have the benefit of getting out in the sun and getting that awesome vitamin D. So I feel like I want to work a little bit harder inside. But what I'm trying to say is my goal is I don't want to just fill myself up to try to like, oh, those are low in macros, but it's kind of crap food. I'm looking at it like, what is the best bang for my buck, macro wise, but also health wise. I don't want to waste my time on eating filler foods. At this point in my life, it's just not really serving me well. I just want to do what's best for my health. So that's part of my, like what I'm doing in the 21-day challenge. Patty says, I've tried all the plans, regained everything the minute I stopped, went strict keto, and in 3 months, I lost 45 pounds and kept it off 2 years until recently. Exactly. That's awesome. So that's what Patty's trying to say is that, sure, maybe she gained a little bit in the last little bit. Who didn't, honestly? I mean, have you ever been in a global pandemic before? I haven't. So, I mean, that was like over and above anything we've ever had to deal with, right? So that aside, she's kept it off for 2 years. Little bit of a blip at the end here, but now she's back on track. And you know what? It's not going to take her very long. Honestly, Patty, it's not going to take you very long at all. Patty's a superstar. And I don't mean that in a perfectionism way. I mean it like she truly, truly loves keto. She talks all the time about enjoying her fatty coffees. She's made it part of her life. And what we talk about in the group all the time is that whatever it is that you decide to do, hopefully it's keto, but whatever you decide to do, it's got to be enjoyable. It's got to be enjoyable. You got to love it. You've got to, just every day go, oh, I cannot wait to eat this or do this. If everything feels like a grudge, like or whatever, you're not going to continue. So even in keto, there are some things that some people don't really like, and they adapt it to whatever suits their lifestyle, right? And that's important. It really is important to do what works for you. Robin, hello. Robin, I removed all the bad food from the house. It was delicious. Well, that's a way to remove it. Seriously, I'm not going to the food store until my cravings die, giving my mom a list and beg her not to add any, but you work so hard treats. Oh, aren't parents great for that? They love us. They love us with food. If that doesn't work, I'll use a supermarket delivery service. I miss sleeping well and feeling great. I totally get it. I absolutely totally get it. Even in the tiny little bit over Christmas that, like I said, I had some chips and I had some chocolate, whatever, I noticed a huge difference in my sleep. Generally, knock on wood, even in perimenopause, I am a very good sleeper. And every time I would have stuff like that in the evening, I would wake up in the night and not be able to fall back to sleep. There was 2 times over the holidays that I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and stayed up. So that sucks. So I totally get it, Robin. And you know what? As soon as your blood sugar goes down and the crap food starts going out, and you're going to feel so good and you're going to start sleeping like a baby again. Yes. Sean, never really tried anything before keto, but still down 100 pounds out of the 110 I lost. And I started 2 years ago, bounced back 10, but have been very inconsistently lately, back on track now. 10 pounds is really nothing. You will get that off in no time. And the thing is, even though you said that you were like inconsistent or whatever, I know for a fact that over the last 2 years, because you're very, active in the group, and even in your off seas, you had tons of being on because it's just part of your life now. And you're still eating tons of keto food. You were eating low carb, you were eating, but I guess and we all do this, but we focus on the times that we were inconsistent, the times that we were eating. But if you think about it, you were still probably like 90% keto and 10% old ways, which is still 90% better than what you ever did before keto. So that's really good. That is really awesome. And 10 pounds, by the end of this 21-day challenge, you will more than have that off. I guarantee it. Anyways, you guys, that is my message for today. And I am very excited for 2022. I feel like this is going to be a super good year for us. I really do. I feel it in my gut that this is going to be an awesome year. We've all been through a lot in the last 2 years, but I feel like we're kind of coming out. We might be in the eye of the storm right now, but we're going to come out of it this year. And why not work on ourselves right now, right? Right now, let's just focus on ourselves. We are important. This is really, really important. Spend these 21 days with us as a group. We're doing this collectively. It is so powerful when we all do it together. So please, if you're not already part of it, please go to featured in the group, and I've got all the information in there for you, and be part of this, because you would be surprised. 21 days of keto consistency. I just want to clarify too, when I say consistent, I don't mean like you have to do absolute perfect keto macros every single day. You do you wherever you're at. If you have never done keto, go to guide number 2, learn how to do keto. It's super easy, and just get started. If you've been way off and you're not even ready to track your macros, just get rid of all the grains, the sugar, the high carbs, and just do that for like a week or so until you get into it. Wherever you're at. There's some people that have been doing this for a long time and they didn't go off too badly, and now they're going to get more into fasting and stuff. Wherever you are. This 21-day challenge isn't about telling you exactly what to do. It's just you getting into the place that you want to be and being consistent with what it is that you're wanting to do. So we're all at different levels, but we're supporting each other. We have accountability buddies. It's awesome. It's really awesome. That's the power of this group. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for coming out and chatting today. This is really great. And let's go back into the day 1 post if you guys haven't commented there today, and let's continue the conversation there. Okay, you guys, have a great night. Take care. Bye. Oh, can't find my mouse. Hey guys, before you go, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification so you can be notified every time we have a new video posted. Also, down in the description, I will have links to everything that we talked about in our chat today, including information on how you can join my Intentionally Bare Keto support group. See you next time.